Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's where you'll find our incredible short courses. In under 60 minutes, you'll grow all the key skills, covering specific areas like how to hire an assistant, grow a team, to list better properties, to grow better fees, and to master your pipeline.
Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, this is probably one of my favorite topics of all time about understanding really like the lifetime value of a customer. And I think that when I first started as a real estate coach, nearly 18 plus years ago, people were in a position that they would have a coach about every 18 months and they kind of move on. And I was the first guy to come out and say, hey, I really want to have decade plus long relationships because I really understood the importance that how do I just work with one client over their lifetime? And I think that there's a lot of real estate agents that have inadvertently built this huge list of past clients, but they're not benefiting from that. And they're not actually building any momentum from that. And they're not actually doing multiple transactions with people. And that may well be because they just do a deal and that's cool. And they're trying to learn it. But they don't understand that, say, someone can come back within a week and they can also come back in 5 or 10 or 20 years. But you got to learn how to be good with those people. When you see them in the street, you got to wave. When there's a listing or a sale, you got to ring them about that. You got to ring them every year for their annual checkups. How important is it for people to go to think about the multiple transactions that people could actually do and not just be one-off as a transactional agent and miss all the opportunity? Because as your career goes, it should get a bit easier that there's a bit more momentum coming your way with listings as opposed to not knowing where your next listing's coming from.
Yeah, we've spoken about this a lot, Josh. There's so many clients where I've sold 5, 10, 15 times. So there's a big lifespan of clients you deal with. We've also got a property on the market in Clovelly at the moment. They bought it from us last year in August. So it's a 8-month turnaround. So I think and those past clients are warm clients. They've had interactions, you've had a good experience. You just don't know what might happen. They might get divorced. They might need to move for work. Whenever anyone says that you take me out in a box, you can't listen to that.
And interest rates went from 2 to 5%.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've got to make sure that whenever you list or sell a property, you're calling everyone around that, hot sellers and past clients. Even if that person, you look at it in your database, you go, I'm not going to call them because they only bought from me 3 months ago. You call that person.
That's called having a relationship, though. And I think about that. Someone said to me the other day, "What's the average length of an Alexander Phillips phone call?" And I said 38 seconds. They're like, "How can that be?" I'm like, "Well, do you know what he's ringing you about though? Jones Street's just listed. Come and have a look at it. Jones Street's just sold. Made $2 million. 2 buyers left over. What do you reckon yours is worth?" And and you're just building it. But here's the key thing: you're building all of these little touch points, and then the day that they are ready to transact, whether or not that's in a month's time or in 4 years, they go, "Oh, Alex is my chosen agent because he actually cares about me." And by the way, he says hello down at the coffee shop and waves at you as you're driving. And I think that that's the difference of really wanting to know. And I think that a lot of people kind of forget who their buyers are, and they leave the buyer at the sold sticker. So they never go to build a relationship with that person going forward. I know that you have different times of the year of great work, and particularly as we come into the winter period here in Australia and New Zealand, I see a lot of agents say, well, what can I be doing? Is it as simple as say, hey, get on the phone, ring everyone who's ever bought from you. Yeah. Say, look, are you due for an annual checkup? Do you want us to pop out and come and see you? And start to build some momentum, to make sure that you're getting ready for spring, because it's the work that we do now in these June, July, August periods that's set up for a massive August, September, October, right? Call
all your past clients, give them a market forecast, give them a market update, try and unearth a seller, try and progress and bring him to a head. There's so much that you can be doing to keep yourself active. And even if you shrink your work hours and just go on to 20 past client calls and make it high energy touch points, that's probably your best way of going about it.
There's definitely a bit of a feeling right now in New Zealand of the market's coming back in recovery, and they've just had another change in interest rates. And when you go to see that, it's just no, bang, and then you start to feel it. Is it really important for agents just to say you must be in a position that you're getting your appointment numbers up? Because appointment numbers up leads to some sort of result in a listing or a sale at some point in the future. So first of all, get busy, and then get good busy that the type of appointments that you're going to are really high quality.
Perfect.
And that's how you got to go and drive that momentum. When you have a look at this is now the time to actually make sure that if you're going to improve that lifetime value, you should be doing more of it. How many transactions have you done now in your career?
There's
a lot.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, wow, that's about 4,000. But I'm trying to get you to think, that's a lot of people to go and call.
Yeah.
But how many clients have you got that have done more than one transaction with you? Is that like 10%, 20%, 30%?
Yeah, it would be 10 to 20, yeah.
And
definitely.
so when you're starting to think about that, the lifetime value that literally they did a fee and it might have been a smaller unit was $15,000 and now it's a $30,000 fee, now it's a $50,000 fee as they step up in price point. And so you're starting to understand that you've got significant value in those relationships.